Welcome back to the Undercut Podcast, guys. My name's Aryan. I'm joined with our other two co-hosts today. We've got Mustafa and Chris as well. How you guys doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having us. You all right?
Yeah, not too
Great.
bad.
Been a very interesting 2 weeks, I'd
Definitely,
say.
definitely been
Very spicy.
been a bit of a spicy one, especially today. Definitely been spicy, especially today. I mean, we're recording on Thursday, 29th July, by the way. And Mercedes just released their Instagram post slash statement about the whole Red Bull, what's it called? Going to the stewards again about Lewis's penalty. What were your guys' thoughts about first? Do you think Red Bull was justified to go back to the stewards after what they said? And B, do you think Mercedes' response to it was adequate? Let's say that. Who wants to go first? Anyone go first?
I'll go first because Red Bull fan, right?
Definitely.
But definitely knowing the political nature of F1, I saw this coming as soon you could tell by the post-race interviews that it was coming. A little bit of helmet market talk and Christian Horner. If you know, Karen Horner was trending on Twitter today. But in my opinion, I could understand the political reasons why they did it. But to me, looking at the incident itself, I think the penalty was appropriate. I don't think there was any malice in what Lewis was trying to do. And it's just purely political reasons, maybe even psychological reasons to try and get it into Lewis that Red Bull are willing to take a hard line. Next time when Max tries to be as aggressive as he is, maybe Lewis is going to have that lingering at the back of his mind that Red Bull will be pulling all sort of small footage to try and prove a case against him. But yeah, that is my opinion.
Do you think it sets a precedent for the next few, let's say, battles that happen?
I think there's a lot left on track. I think Max needs to give his response on track. And I think Lewis now knows that like Lewis is showing that he's not gonna back down. He's when he's squeezed through those corners like Imola, for example. Was it Imola? I believe so. Imola,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mostly what
Max
do you
Max is definitely gonna have Lewis not giving up any space.
Definitely. I think Hungary is it's gonna be a lot of emotions for the drivers, but as I say, like emotions don't exist when you're under the helmet. Mostly, do you think that Mercedes' response was adequate, or if you want to touch upon Red Bull's?
Just as for the incident itself, I watched this graphic about like talking about all the modeling of not the modeling, but just like comparing like the ways that Hamilton takes the corner throughout the race.
Yeah.
But like it's in itself, they weren't actually in the car, and I feel like it was just a racing incident. And like from both teams, I feel like they're just trying to protect their drivers and get like the best like championship standing they can. If Red Bull can like get a bigger penalty, they'd want it. Obviously, Mercedes liked this decision. They want to keep it the way it is. It's just like both teams protecting their drivers, basically.
Definitely. And what do you guys think about Mercedes' response? Was it? I mean, I'm gonna give my opinion before you guys go in.
Yeah.
We spoke about it before the podcast recording started. I never expected a team like Mercedes to do it. A team that, like, if you look at like a politics standpoint, and they're very liberal in that manner, and there's less likely that aggression will come out of them off track. I mean, like you've seen, like Toto's a very vocal person, of course, but that sort of stuff is like on track and like isn't like social media wise based or isn't stuff like that. And being a very Mercedes like team, that's the least I expected. That's like I never expected that message to come out, because when I saw it at first, you know, those Instagram memes you see of like F1 where you think it's basically faked. Like my mind when I saw it, like so Adam posted on a story before I saw it, before anyone else saw it. And when I saw an Adam story, I clicked the thing he reshared. And I'm like, this looks fake for a second. I look at top, it says Mercedes AMG F1. And I'm like, oh shit, it's verified. Oh, this is actually real. And I mean, I feel it was sort of crossing the line of leaving the track, leaving the fight on track. I feel there's like a line there, but it wasn't malicious in any way. So this isn't something that they could have like said it as much as they want. But I feel for a team that is a caliber of Mercedes and the respect that you have for Mercedes, it's sort of a line that shouldn't have been crossed. What do you guys think? Misty, go. What do
Yeah, I
you
feel
think?
like it was very, as a Ferrari fan, this is something I'd expect like Ferrari to do or something like that.
Yeah.
But a very non-Mercedes move. Yeah, like a little passive aggressive in my opinion. But I guess it's like gotten to that with Christian Horner in the media and like Verstappen as well a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, as a Red Bull, as a Red Bull fan on this podcast, what do you think?
Honestly, I'll say first as a fan of the sport, and considering I've watched the sport for a long time, I could see this coming. I could see Mercedes had to respond in a way. To me, it's almost as similar as when we had the whole flexi wing controversy.
Yeah.
You know, Red Bull saying, "Oh, how dare you call us cheats?" Like, and Mercedes also, for me, how I read the statement and how I got the vibe of the statement was like, considering some of those things Helmut Marko did say, like, or point deduction, he didn't even say a race ban. I won't even be shocked if he did say a race ban. But,
yeah. I mean, he did say a race ban. I mean, he said Lewis should
yeah,
be banned for
it's helmet. It's helmet.
I mean, it is Helmut Marko. So I don't sort of like he is the GOAT of F1 in a
Very
way.
much so.
He is like the person. He's like when if you go back to their school days when the principal comes into the teacher, like when they're like just watching the teacher. That's a fit Helmut Marko. He like just watches the entire F1 paddock and says the most randomest thing, the randomest points, and like they're so outrageous and so like different than what everyone else is saying, and you just like it's never gonna happen. Lewis is not gonna get banned for this, but like it's just hilarious to watch him say that. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Like helmets, I don't know if I'd prefer a toned down helmet. You know,
no,
like
no.
a Niki
It's like,
Lauda
yeah,
helmet.
it's
But
like saying
I just
it.
expect more maturity.
Yeah,
Just, you know, a bit
definitely,
more maturity from
definitely.
him. Because they are title contenders. He knows. In fact, they do have the best car on the grid. He should be more of, you know, saying we're the big dogs, you come at us, not we're coming at you.
Take the high road type thing.
Basically.
Basically.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, if you're complete listening to this podcast right now, you have no idea what's going on. I'll just read out the Mercedes post that they did. The Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team welcomes the decision of the stewards who reject Red Bull's racing right of review. In addition to bring this incident to a close, we hope that this decision will mark the end of a concerned attempt by the senior management of Red Bull Racing to tarnish the good name and sporting integrity of Lewis Hamilton, including in the documents submitted for the unsuccessful right of review. We look forward to going racing this weekend and to continue our hard-fought competition for the 2021 FIA Formula One World Champion. I can't even like when they had the middle bit of a concerned attempt by the senior manager of Red Bull Racing. Even though I read this a billion times already, just reading that part is just like it makes me laugh because like something like I never expected like Mercedes to say that. Like for me, it's like if Lewis Hamilton comes out and says something really outrageous, like I would never expect because he's so calm and collected. I would never expect like him to say that. And I mean, it was a very saucy day in F1. Let's just say that.
Do you think that came about because of Max Verstappen saying, "Listen, I was in hospital and you literally ran around the crowds." You know, do you think that Instagram post may have elicited this response from Mercedes? Because I think that's the main reason. I don't think Horner and Helmet would elicit such a response. I think even how the statement came out.
I guarantee you, to the Friday, you guys will already know this by the time it's released, but the Friday press conference with the team principals, I guarantee you something will go down between Toto and Horner. It's just the way the characters they are. And I think to answer your question about do you think it's from the Lewis thing? First of all, I want to defend Lewis in this whole scenario because there's no way he would know Max in the hospital. His engineer Bono would not tell him Max is in the hospital because it would put him off for the race. So you have no idea that he's actually in the hospital because every single F1 driver after a crash does go in the ambulance and does have a check regardless. So that's like a standard procedure. He had no idea that he was in the hospital. I think the Mercedes post was just a boil over of emotions. Because I think last week, Red Bull Racing as a whole, like senior management of that Red Bull Racing, is including the two drivers, they were more concerned that this could have been a lot worse than what it was. I spoke with in the last podcast. It could have led to something that was very dangerous to Max. It could have harmed him for life. And I think that sort of emotion just like boiled over. I think now Lewis and Mercedes as a whole just wanted to put a bit more oil into the flame because Toto did that. Christian did that. He literally said that Lewis has no regard for Max's life. That was a summary of his entire interviews that day after the race. That he put his competition into the wall with a 51G impact, and he's out there celebrating that fact. So I think Mercedes just had to put a stop to that and be like, no, we're the right ones here. And just that post, I think, just sort of the emotion battle just was going on.
Yeah, it may have been less about like trying to anger or like get anything out of Red Bull, and more so just defend their like situation from Mercedes.
I did feel they got a lot of hate for the fact of like Lewis celebrating, but again, to defend Lewis, he did not know that Max was in the hospital. There's no way he would.
And it's his home crowd. It's his
definitely,
home crowd.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, the Max, like I think it's any crash over 25 Gs, you get taken to hospital for like standard checkups.
I think it's any crash. As long as you can see the car is physically broken, you get taken away. Unless like you like just bump the wall and like you.
I might be wrong about the 25 Gs.
Yeah, but I mean, like whatever it is, there's no way Lewis would have known, so it isn't his fault. And I think so long as he's in Mercedes, not actually win together for so many races, and I think Lewis just felt that emotion and he has a right to celebrate. But this Mercedes post is very saucy. Let's just say that.
Very saucy.
Definitely was.
I think if the penalty was a lot harsher, or Leclerc was able to hold.
There's a lot.
I think this would be so different. I think there would be such an alternative reality, I think.
But I think there was no worse penalty for him. Like, what's worse than 10 seconds?
Yeah, there was no worse
penalty. Like, if you look at this 5, 10, 20, but 20 is like 20 or getting black and white flag. Like,
anything apart from like a race ban or a black flag does nothing for Red Bull.
Because like regardless, you knew that even with the 10-second stop and go penalty, Lewis would have come back. He did have the fastest car on the grid. Leclerc was the fastest driver on the grid. That's a different story. But Lewis had the best car on that after Max crashed out. So you would have caught him regardless. And regardless, Perez wouldn't have finished in the points. So there wasn't like it was probably like a 6-point difference that they could have won if it was like, let's say, a 20-second stop and go penalty, for example.
Also, I feel like the fact that it's like there's a gap in between the races has like only made it worse, because I feel like if we were in a race week, it would have already like
it would have died down and gone to the next week content.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't know if you guys seen this interview yet. I sent it to Misty a video today. There's an interview with George Russell, and the interviewer asks him, "So what's your deal with next year?" And he just starts laughing. And
I saw that.
And there's a comment down below in that video. George Russell is as bad as an actor as great of a driver he is. As like that, I feel at this point, I think George knows he's entering the Mercedes.
I think we all know.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I feel that something has been signed or a verbal agreement has been made. Because there's no way he would react otherwise. There's no way that he would like bluntly answer. Like Valtteri just bluntly answered, "I have no updates for you." That means he hasn't been informed, but there was like a verbal agreement with Toto and George that you will drive for us next year.
I feel like with like Hamilton like possibly retiring in a few years, but Bottas nowhere, like there's no chance he's going to be a Mercedes like #1 driver. They need to like get someone in quick just to get them.
Guys, I've got a question.
Part of the system.
I've got a question. if you were Valtteri Bottas's management, which teams would you be talking to at the moment?
So I had a long chat with one of my friends about this, right? Like I had like an hour or two chat just about like Valtteri Bottas and where he would go. And honestly, we came to the conclusion that Haas would not be a bad option for him. And
what?
I'll tell you why. If you think about it, right? Like this is like when let's just get the prediction for next year, right? If I think about it, right? George goes to Mercedes, so that's Mercedes done, Ferrari done, McLaren done, Red Bull done, right? So there's no top seats available for Valtteri, right? The next is midfield. AlphaTauri, they're not gonna drop Gasly. They won't drop Yuki. They spend too much money on Yuki. They're not dropping him, right? Alpine, Alonso's been freaking amazing this year, and Ocon's already signed on. Now, who else is there? There's McLaren midfield, but they're already set for next year. Ferrari
Aston
midfield
Martin.
already set for next year. Aston Martin already set for next year with Lance Stroll and what's it called? And Seb. So it's sort of already
You know what?
go on.
I'd be talking to Aston Martin actually.
I
think that
I would, but where would he belong in Aston Martin? You're not gonna drop Seb.
okay,
You're nowhere dropping.
this is my idea.
Okay, go on.
This is my idea. Put Vettel and Bottas together for 2022.
You're not dropping
and because
Daddy Stroll.
There's no way they're
acquiring
dropping
a lot
Stroll.
of good talent.
Yeah, but you're not dropping Daddy Stroll, are you?
Yeah, no. Look. I would, because Stroll has been to Williams before and probably still has the connection. Daddy Stroll could just, drop
Daddy Stroll owns
title sponsorship. I don't know.
Yeah, but he
something.
owns. But Daddy Stroll. I'm stopping Daddy Stroll. Mr. Stroll actually owns owns a part of Aston Martin. He's no way. He's a businessman in the day. He's not gonna let that go, is he? Which is what I think Aston Martin's locked out. And the reason for Haas being is like it's either Haas, Williams, or Alfa Romeo, right? So it's one of those three teams which he can possibly go.
I feel like Williams is the most likely option with the Mercedes engine as well.
Yeah, Williams is probably the most likely in the terms of like what's the most easiest transfer, basically, in that way. He's been the team, he knows like people working in that team for like a short period of time at least, but he knows the Williams surroundings at least. But there's rumors that he's speaking to Alfa Romeo, but I do think that if Kimi retires, right? Big thing based on Kimi retiring. Like I have no idea what he's gonna do. Like absolutely no. As typical Kimi, no idea what he's gonna do. If Kimi does actually retire, where does the second seat go to? Is it gonna be a young Ferrari driver? Most likely, yes, because new regulation. They really don't need any experienced driver as much. You need, of course, but they're new regulations, so everyone's basically starting at zero anyway. Maybe Mick would come in based on Alfa Romeo's performance this year, because Mick has not signed on for next year yet. Mick comes in there, there's a seat open at Haas. Haas, without a doubt, will take a driver like Valtteri Bottas, and he would definitely number one driver there.
Yeah, within seconds, yeah.
Definitely be number one driver there. And Valtteri does bring a good amount of money from his sponsors as well, as an added bonus to Haas as well. Now,
I think I wouldn't want to go from the best team to the worst team.
But you think about next year, they won't be the worst.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
There's no other seats. Like there's no team. There's no seats in a competing midfield or top team.
So. It's either this or IndyCar for him. But if we think about it, like, think of Roman Grosjean went to IndyCar and doing really well. Like, I think is like Roman missed out on the fact that he isn't winning. Like, he isn't getting victories. He's fighting for P10s and doesn't want to do that, does he? But I think Valtteri's got used to victories. So I think changing from a victory to competing for points was very hard for him. But where do you guys? Okay, Misty, where do you think he's going?
I felt like just most likely Williams. He's already been there. You know, he kind of like there will be familiar faces. I feel like he's coming to like the like near the end of his career. I feel like in F1, and I feel like he'd want to like be around like old company rather than trying to spend his like last few years like getting to know a new team, maybe not liking where he is.
Definitely.
And also with like Williams is like clear like big push
Yeah.
for 2022. I feel like, and out of all those teams, they're the biggest contender.
Yeah. I think as a good Ed plus he's a Mercedes contacted driver, so
Yeah.
it makes that transition really easy where you swap a George for a Valtteri. But okay, what do you guys think the next year grids gonna look like? You give me your bold predictions. Chris, go on. What's your bold prediction? I feel I sense something's happening there. I want to hear the bold prediction.
Aston Martin better than Mercedes.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, that could happen. Like, I mean, it is Formula One.
If you look at the technical signings, they're merging a bit of Red Bull with a bit of Mercedes. You know what I'm saying?
They're basically getting the best of two worlds.
The best of two worlds, and they have the budget for it. The drivers are the drivers can do a job.
Yeah.
The drivers can do a job. Stroll can do a number 2 job. Vettel, let's see how he performs when the pressure is on.
Yeah.
From 2018 was my last reference. Let's see, he's been able to overcome those psychological hurdles. But I think it's gonna be Red Bull and Aston Martin fighting for that with Mercedes and Ferrari looking for best of the rest.
Do you not think McLaren's gonna be up there? I've caught you there, haven't I? I've caught you there.
It's also tight, isn't it? It could go either way, you know.
For the first time in like 2022 excites me so much. Like I've never been excited for the next season of F1 ever. Like even 2020 ended, I was not excited for 2021 as much as I am for 2022 because if FIA they deliver on what they promised, that the racing will get better, and you think on midfield is so close. Like to get from qualifying P4 to qualifying P10, it's probably like 2 tenths, 3 tenths away. While if you think about it, like a year or two ago, they were like seconds behind, and it's gonna be so close. It's what I don't think. I'm not gonna say a team's gonna dominate. It's gonna be a drivers that dominate.
Yeah, that's what it always should be, really.
Yeah.
You don't want F1 to be a spec series, but you also want it to be like somewhat fair.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's so much going on. Like Red Bull calling AlphaTauri a sister team. What does that mean in terms of developing the car? Would they kick off some ideas between the two? I mean, they'll kind of already do it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
AlphaTauri takes a good box.
When it was Toro Rosso, didn't they test the Honda engine for one season before? It's always a test, like they're like the test mule.
They tested it and then they really liked it and they went out and Red Bull is really good just because of that engine this year. I think Toro Rosso, Alpha. I mean, it is a loophole in a way, but you think of like Mercedes Williams as well. Like they're like brothers like brothers and sisters. But like on to the fact about AlphaTauri and Red Bull. The reason why like they're not like a second team, like sister teams, because I don't think they're sister. I think next year they both will compete for the podiums. As in, like, I mean, Red Bull will of course be ahead in terms of like they're competing for a win, but I think AlphaTauri will be competing for the P2, P3 positions, and that will be very good to watch because I really want to see the comparison with Gasly in the same car and hopefully if it's Perez in that car as well to see actually who is in best competition with Max. And it's I can't wait for next year. Nick, I'm like,
it's just like relearning like the whole pecking order.
It's actually good. You never know, like Mazepin might be P1.
Mazepin P1.
Mazepin P1. Oh, what a day that would be!
The dream.
Whole vodka bottle with no chaser.
Chris, we're holding you to this now. So we've had Adam say that if Mazepin wins a race, he will shave his head, right? We have Adam say that, and then we have Chris say that if Mazepin wins a race, you will drink a bottle of vodka with no chaser. Okay, Mazepin. Oh dear Lord, Mazepin. please don't spin out and please win the race. That would be absolute. Imagine like where the race is in Russia and Mazepin wins. Like somehow rain comes down, something happens, and Mazepin's P1 and he finishes P1.
KGB has got to be involved, even the rains and all that.
Definitely. Like
Sabotage
10,
all the engines.
10 of the drivers have to be banned for that race just for him to win.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen in like Monaco in it's like a mid-90s race? It was like a rainy.
Yeah.
It was
There's
raining.
like 5
they only
people
had
competing.
four or five people
Yeah.
in the final.
Like 10 got banned, or like 10 backed out, 5 like had like crashed out or something like that. Now there's like 5 people competing for the win of the race. But that would be pretty.
A win.
I don't think ever something like that would happen in today's world.
No, or like Indy in 05, was it? Like Indianapolis 05 with the tires.
Yeah, I feel the way that these cars are designed, it's very like you can have tire blowouts 100%, like guarantee you could have tire blowouts, stuff like that. But it's very rare that you're gonna have a race abandoned for a driver just because of a technical issue. Like if you think about you do get like once in every like seasons that you once or twice you do get, because the technicals the cars aren't perfect, of course. But it's so rare for drivers to make like errors that they do crash out and get abandoned for the race. I think B as well at the same time. The cars are so advanced that it makes the car more reliable in a way. I think next year is gonna like up that. So I don't think we're gonna see that as often as we did in 1900s at least.
I also want to see how the cars will change from the model that we've been given. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think we are.
Yeah, in the
I expect to see a lot more.
Yeah.
In the initial like proposal, they produced like I think it was Ross Brawn that was doing the presentation. He brought out so many different like actual drawings, and that the actual model we get given is just the best looking one. That's like all it is.
Yeah, I mean it's not like great looking anyway, but
it's
well,
not.
the F1 things anyway.
I mean the car like I love seeing F1 cars. Like I'm a big F1. Like I'm not technical at all, but I love seeing the F1 cars go around the track. I don't know, this next gen of cars, it doesn't look great, but to be fair, like when this gen of cars came out, I didn't think it looked great either. Like I was I think it's just like you're used to the old cars and you don't want to change. But I mean, if the cars promise what they're said they're going to be promising, what a season it would be.
For like most people, the best looking F1 cars are like the simplest, and getting rid of like all these like intricate tiny little like aero devices for like next season's car will like only help that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get on. We're going to do a quick report card for all the drivers, for like this season especially, because the interview today, all the interviews with all the drivers today was just Lawrence Berto asking them, so it's halfway time, you're at school, you got a parents teacher meeting, what do you give yourself as a grade?
I love exactly how you frame that.
Yeah. So we're the teachers. Let's give our students of Formula One a quick grade. Let's start off with the worst of the worsts. Mazepin. Out of like normal A to B to C to D to F, that normal school standard grading, what would you give? What would you give Mazepin? Musty, what would you give Mazepin?
F. It's not really too hard. F. I'm sorry.
Okay.
F.
Chris?
Ungradable, if that's an option.
Ungradable.
Cannot, physically unable to put pen to paper to mark him.
Dropping out of school, maybe or not.
Dropping out of his first year of school. That would be great.
With Mazepin, like, I thought maybe we could just excuse the fact that the car is slow. Maybe if the car is slow, I just give him a C. At least it's finishing the races or something. But the fact that he keeps spinning around, like, I don't know if he's doing it just to, like, get bantered or just to stay relevant.
Banter. He's a paid driver, to be fair. He's there just for the bants.
He could do just for the bants. Oh, that'll be hilarious if he's just doing it for the bants. I meant like he releases a book and he just says, in my first year, I spun around just for the bants. That'll be very sick. But his companion, the son of the great Schumacher, Mick Schumacher, what would you? I mean, personally, I would give him around like a C or a B for sure.
Yeah.
Say
I feel like
more towards the C plus in that way.
C plus. Yeah. So I feel like C plus is a good grade, just because obviously he's not got the best machinery under him.
But
So
he's done decently well. Just
yeah,
sort
with
of
what
like,
he has, relative. Yeah, it's
a
all
bit
relative.
inconsistent. It's like a kid in school where like if he tries, he would do really well. Like
Yeah.
doesn't give the effort basically.
Yeah.
But Mick does give the effort, and if he had a better car, I think he would do really well. Chris, what would you give him a grade of?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think a C.
Yeah.
Can't really. Yeah, just didn't have the right equipment with him or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Just an unfortunate test.
Bought
Unaware of it happening.
a pencil to an English exam instead of a pen, basically.
Yeah.
Say that. Let's go to Williams. What do we say about Latifi?
Latifi. Oh, I'd say like C minus. Like he's consistently delivering at the level we expect him to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's okay, fair enough. But like maybe like one or two like standout performances, like I don't know, like points, like maybe a close to points finish or something like that would like
especially when your teammates qualifying into Q1.
Exactly.
Yeah. Chris, what would you give Latifi as a grade? E. Yeah, I think
I'm giving Latifi an E because I honestly, like, ever since he joined the sport, like I'm struggling to find of any memorable Latifi moments,
True.
And
in his first race finishing P11. That's the only race I'll ever have in my head.
Yeah, okay. And I won't even remember it because that happened once. Like he's not and I'd also say that he's also doing the bare minimum, but just there needs to be some more competitive spirit with him.
Definitely.
Like you can't be battling the Hasses. I mean, you can't
definitely.
Even the Alfa Romeos, I think Gio and Kimi are doing a lot better already.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
I mean, like I would give him like a D plus C minus because it's sort of like you're about there where, like as Missy said, like he's doing the bare minimum he needs to do for that car. You don't expect that car to be in the points anyway, so it's nothing like that. But when your teammates absolutely destroying you, like absolutely crushing you, it is a bit of a low point for him. I wouldn't give him higher than like a D plus C minus for sure. Let's go to Italian Jesus, Giovinazzi. What would you guys rate him as?
I'd just
firstly, lovely set of hair. Absolutely love his hair.
Yeah. Looks wise, A plus.
Yeah, definitely.
He stepped up.
Yeah,
he stepped up. I think before we always thought that Alfa Romeo was solely a Kimi team. But now we see that Gio is starting to take responsibility and starting to also try put in some good performance. I think Monaco was really great for him.
Yeah.
Considering how much concentration is needed on that track.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to give him a B minus.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a solid B because he's outdriven the car in a matter. He's outdriven his teammate, and if you compare to last year, he's really improved. So I would say like he's B working towards A.
Oh yeah.
He's a B working towards A.
Yeah.
Missy?
B. Yeah, just a flat B. Yeah.
Flat B,
and on the way up, like
on the way up.
Definitely proving himself in the car. Yeah. Not much.
What about the man that says F1 just a hobby, Kimi Räikkönen? Because I hate giving Kimi a bad grade. Because he's like,
it feels wrong. It feels wrong.
He's like the student that's failed, failed 1 year and like come back another year, and like I'm still teaching him, and despite like he's done really well, but I just like can't give him a bad grade. But like, I feel unbiased here, and I'm gonna give him like a C minus probably, just because I know what Kimi is capable of.
Yeah,
And he's driven. He's one of the greatest drivers in F1. He's definitely up there with one of the greatest drivers in F1. And this year, maybe it's just because he's given up on the sport, or like whatever the reason, or the car isn't suiting him this year, or whatever, or maybe Giovinazzi's got really good. He's not performed to the capability that I expect Kimi to be, at least.
Yeah, I feel like he's not really like giving it his all, or he's underwhelmed with the car after the spin at Silverstone with Perez. I think it was a Perez. Oh yeah, he's a C. I'd say C. Like you can't give a
C.
world champion like less than a C.
Yeah.
Less, yeah.
What'd you say?
I'd set the big boxes must C.
C.
Yeah, I'd give him a C. I can't find any reason to give him any lower, because considering his age and considering we might see the fact that he is retiring and he's in the sport just to enjoy, when he's not there to aggressively compete and try to prove a point, because he's a world champion. He has no point to prove.
Definitely.
But nothing particularly extraordinary from him. So
yeah,
I just give him a C.
C.
Average, yeah.
Let's work on to the other old timer, Fernando Alonso from Alpine. I'm gonna be honest with you, Fernando Alonso surprised me. Before we started the season, I think I definitely said Alonso wouldn't be as I did see he would give Ocon a run for his money. That's a guarantee. He would definitely compete.
Yeah.
But I don't think he competed. I don't think he would have what I'm trying to say is I don't think he would be as good as he was this year. So I would definitely give him a B for this season.
Yeah, out of like throughout his whole career, compared to other like multiple time world champions, he's had like such like underperforming cars, and like obviously this year it's not like it's not contending for too much, and I feel like he's out driving the car on a consistent level. So like B, I'd say B minus.
Chris,
he's B. Yeah, I'd give him a B. Showing his experience. We saw in the sprint how how many cars did he jump, but that was just he's using his experience well. And we had so many doubts about Alonso. Personally, I did, because I was like, this guy just broke a jaw or something, and he's hopping to an F1 seat, and he's turned 40 today, right? So happy birthday, Alonso. I deserve, Alonso, if you're listening to this, you deserve more world championships. You do. From the bottom of my heart, you do.
Definitely. He definitely does. Let's move on to Fernando Alonso's teammate, Esteban Ocon. I feel his grade's a D. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel I've been way too harsh on him, but you got beat by a person who hasn't been in the sport for so long, had a broken jaw when he came into the sport, and he's absolutely destroying you. What do you guys think?
For the first
time. Oh wait, you go, Chris. You go.
Before he got his contract, he was really good. Before he got his contract, he was really good.
Yeah.
I think he was putting the Alpine where it should be. But after he got his contract, it's just gone downhill. So I give him a C.
Do you guys think it's the not having the pressure for contract is that sort of alleviated off his brain, and now he's just messing about?
Yeah, like I feel like it's for 3 seasons, right? If you're in F1 terms, that's a lifetime to have a contract, and if you're there for like the next 3 years, I feel like there's not as much pressure as because he was definitely having to prove himself in the car that like before the contract. So I feel I'd say like a C minus, D plus. I'll just go D plus.
Yeah, I want to know, is it Alonso outperforming the car because he's such a good driver, or is it that Ocon's been lacking and the car isn't that great? It's just one of them, isn't it? But I'm leaning towards the Ocon isn't doing as great because Alonso's had bad moments in the car as well. But
a bit of both.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of both. But I'm leaning towards the reason why he isn't doing as great as he should be is because it's him making the mistake, not the car being shit, basically, to put it nicely. But I do think that Ocon being signed on for the next, I think it's at least like till 2022, or 2023, sorry. That basically opened up a pathway. You know that Ocon isn't going to be a Mercedes driver because Ocon is managed by Toto Wolff and Mercedes. So you know he isn't getting in that Mercedes seat. So that's more of like an inkling to me that George is getting to that seat as well. That's just a small little thing of mine. Yeah, and I never thought about it until now, but like that sort of confirms it to me that it is going to be George at least by 2023 who's going to be in that seat.
No.
Sorry, has Lewis signed off for next season?
Yeah, he signed up for the next 2 years, so he's going to be here until 2023.
Oh,
so basically, at the time that Ocon's contract finishes.
I would assume that like if Bottas was to get a contract, he would have obviously got one by now. If Lewis signed his.
Definitely.
But sorry, Chris, I cut you off.
Yeah, I was having hopes that Ocon would, throw another spanner into this Mercedes second seat saga by having a really good season this year.
And but I don't think it's a good enough. Yeah, I don't think Ocon's good enough for that seat yet.
I was hoping because it was just that inclination that like 3 drivers go to 1 seat. That is.
I mean, never know. Checo might be available for that seat as well. Like, we might see a George and Max team and a Checo and Lewis team. That would be so cool to see. That would honestly be really cool to see. But I don't think that's possible. But speaking about Red Bull and the Red Bull driver program, Yuki Tsunoda this year, there's a lot of hype around it when he came in. Do you think, in my opinion, I don't think he's lived up to the hype, but he is a rookie in the day. I mean, we can't be that hard to make, so the same should apply to Yuki as well. So I would give Yuki like a C, a solid C.
I feel like, the hype is really there because I feel like a lot of previous like Japanese F1 drivers with driving for Japanese teams, always had like crazy hype. From Japanese F1 fans and also around the world.
And I think it was because they saw like a young, sorry to cut you off, but I think they saw like a young Max in him in a way.
Yeah.
Because like Max had a similar success story that he just jumped Formula 3 to Formula 2 to Formula 1. It was rapid. At that point, he didn't even do Formula 2, but like with the rules that are currently existing, you need to do Formula 2 before you enter F1. So you need to have super driver license points. Super license point. What am I saying? Super drivers. Super driver. Like, you gotta be a super duper driver, and then you get your license, basically. But I think they were basically finding a new Max in a way that sort of hyped them up. But Chris, what do you think? Do you think he deserves a bit of a hard?
I'm on the hype train. I'm on the Yuki hype. What I see in this guy is an aggressive, competitive driver.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He could do his job. He could do a job. But the thing that brings him down is the fact that he's a rookie, making rookie mistakes. If we look at some of the things that are being said to him, that are being said about him, coming out from the AlphaTauri camp, there's certainly, that's where the hype is coming from. The people who are working with him, they clearly see something they've not seen, and to me, that gives me enough justification to continue being on the hype train.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Yuki hype train. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it's just that this season he's committed exactly what I said at the point about rookie. He's a rookie, so I can't be as hard as I can be. Like, for example, Gaz doing the same mistakes, but at the same time, if I like compare him to Mick in a way, I feel Mick being in a really bad car has committed less mistakes than Yuki has been in a really good car. If I take it as like a
Mick
comparison,
Yuki has.
Yuki does what?
Mick doesn't have the pressure that.
Definitely, yeah. But I mean, if I think about that, when Mick has the pressure of his dad,
and then Mick spend more time.
Yeah, Mick. This is what I'm saying. Like, he's been fast tracking to F1. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm guaranteed saying I'm on the Yuki hype train. I do think he will be competing for the world champion in the future. Like, it's I will tell you this. I do believe that. But this season, I have to be hard on him. And there have been moments where a driver of his caliber, like as good of a driver he is, like I know he's a rookie, he will make mistakes. Like I'm not saying he shouldn't be making mistakes, but he could have been a bit better this year. I think he would agree to that himself.
Yeah, for the moment, I feel like he's just passing C grade.
Yeah, I would say he's just getting a C from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the double penalties is clearly an example.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he got penalized for, I think he was getting out of the pit exit before out of the white line.
The pit entry was outside.
Oh yeah.
He cut the line.
Yeah, and the fact that John Todd literally made for him his own schedule, like that's the level of micromanaging that
Yeah.
John
I mean,
Todd is kind of.
he is very young and he is a talent that Red Bull will want to keep like close to the hearts in a way, because like if you think about it, it's like a once in a lifetime. You get someone that is in their rookie season F2, they competed for the driver's championship a very long time and barely and got through by a big margin to getting like the top 3 drivers at F2. So I think he really did really well. But let us move on to his teammate Pierre Gasly. What do you, as a Red Bull fan here, Chris? What would you say to? What grade would you give, or what report would you give to Gasly?
Pierre, I'm giving him an A minus. I like to see a little bit more punchy in qualifying, especially, but he's been good this season.
Definitely.
I don't think he's put a foot wrong. He's been good. Just maybe we want the car to be a bit faster for him. Maybe that's the issue, but he's carried the team.
Definitely. Definitely, without a doubt. Musti?
He looks good. He looks big. He looks like he's ready to reclaim what he's lost in a couple of years.
Yeah, like after the like stellar performances last season, I feel like he's like at home in the team. I feel like B plus currently this season.
Didn't expect that.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a little more through this season. I feel like he has it in him. He just hasn't done it yet.
Fairs.
If you get me.
I'll give you that. I mean, I'm gonna give him a solid A because there's not more he could have done with that. I mean, yeah, I do agree that qualifying could have been a bit more punchy and maybe could have competed.
Yeah, that might be a bit harsh, but
no, but I mean, it's based on different reasons, isn't it? Like I agree, I get where you're coming from a B plus because if you think about it, to compare to last year, he could have done a lot better this year. But I think it's just the way that I feel like McLaren and Ferrari are way ahead this year, and it's very hard for him to consistently get great races in because the reason that McLaren and Ferrari is so great ahead. But despite that, he is still qualifying a P6 and he is finishing around that, apart from like the incidents he's had on lap 1, for example. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna say a solid race season, like a mid-season for him.
I think he had one of the best wheel-to-wheel drivers combat situations. In Baku with Leclerc, I think that was incredible. Like, that was incredible. That was good. That was good racing.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely had a good moment on track this year, but this sort of brings me into the fact that like I'm very disappointed that he doesn't have a car of the capability for McLaren or Ferrari, because he definitely deserves it. Like without a doubt, he deserves a car that is to the great caliber. And I'll bring some. I can definitely talk about this a bit later, but I want to get into it now. Do you guys think Gas should leave the Red Bull program?
No.
I personally, I feel like maybe yes, because I feel like he's being limited. Like he has proven himself to be like signed by like some McLaren maybe, or like I don't know.
Even a Ferrari, I mean, there's a chance
possibly.
that Ferrari could have signed him as well, but they got signs.
He's locked. Is he locked in as a Red Bull driver?
Nope, he hasn't signed it for next year yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too sure if he has, but
Autosport today, and he said they had some very good talks. I think I was Autosport today, and Gazzy basically said that he's still like he's talking to Red Bull, not obviously about it, but like he's he's still part of the program. He doesn't have any immediate plans of leaving,
The thing is, I don't think he has a
which to
better
me
option, does
is
he?
still good.
He doesn't have a better
Yeah,
option.
Yeah,
yeah. I feel like
Oh,
any other team that he could possibly go to is a downgrade. Well, with open seats anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if I think about like there
yeah.
isn't, he's probably a downgrade of the similar level. Like Alpine's the probably only other seat he has. Because I don't think Aston, I don't think there's a space for him there. McLaren, Ferrari filled out. And the only way up is a Mercedes seat or a Red Bull seat. Red Bull, I think they're gonna stick with Checo, unless Checo has a horrible second half of the season, maybe. If he has a very bad second half season, you might not see Checo Perez in the grid. You won't see him on the grid, but you won't see him for maybe a Red Bull, possibly. Gasly might come in, but we never know, do we? It is Formula One. Crazy things has happened in the past, so you never know.
I think if he just stays at the AlphaTauri seat, like I don't want him to sign. If I was his manager, I wouldn't want him to sign like a 3-year contract with Red Bull.
I feel like
a year
I want him to be in the Mercedes seat.
until
yeah, I feel like maybe he should just like wait a couple seasons or a season or two for better opening in a better team and stick where he is otherwise.
I think if he's as consistent as he is, and when Lewis retires and Toto needs a teammate for hopefully George, there might be a door open for Gasly. If Red Bull haven't snatched him up, or if Ricardo does really well, or really bad as well, or if Norris is really bad, or if anyone on the grid next year. Thing is, even Sainz, if Sainz has a very bad season next year at Ferrari, he's only signed up for 2 years. You never know. He might be taken out. You never know what's going to happen with Formula One, and that's why we love the sport.
Exactly.
But let's move on to Carlos Sainz. What do you guys rate him?
As a Ferrari fan, I'd say B plus. Like, he's not having a poor season, but he's not having the season everyone like expected him to.
It's been a decent season, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It's not bad by any means, but not like amazing. It's also the car's not like pushing any wins. Like certainly high podiums, but I don't think on like a consistent basis we're like pushing wins. And it may be that Ferrari always had like, even if they say they don't, they do have a first and second driver. So he might be getting like poor strategies, but yeah, I feel like maybe you can like one or two more performances on the podium or a high podium. I feel like that'd be. Yeah.
Also, this is way off topic, but Misty, can I say you actually look like a race engineer? You like probably look like a if you're watching us on like our YouTube channel, if you look at Musty right now, he looks like a race engineer, like having like a blue like a team top with like a hat on and like the mic coming out of his headphones. Like that's like a proper race engineer. Like this is going way off topic, but I just had to say it before I forget it. But yeah, back to Carlos Sainz. Chris, what would you give him a report of?
I'd give him a B plus. He adapted to the car initially at the beginning of the season a lot better than the drivers that kind of swapped around seats, which is a plus for me. Monaco was a good performance.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's not been there. But considering where the other drivers have been, even we'll get to Checo, but I don't think Checo has fitted in as well as Sainz has. And for that reason, I give him a B plus.
Yeah, same. I think Sainz has been the best one adjusting to the new car. Second to Checo probably, and then Danny. But he's been, as I said earlier, it's been a decent season for him, ups and downs. But for someone who switched teams, I think he's had a pretty good year, and I would say B plus, working towards like an A minus. But his teammate, on the other hand, I'm giving him an A star or A plus. Definitely, he's got pole positions. He's fought for a victory, been on the podium. Not more that I could ask from Charles Leclerc. I mean, I'll start off with the non-Ferrari fan because I know you're very excited to say that he's got an A star or like 100%. Chris, what would you rate Leclerc's season as?
not put a foot wrong. Great driver.
Mm-hmm.
Always been a great driver. I
Yeah.
think him and Max. Hopefully, we get to see the reincarnation of Sen and Prost.
Mm.
Um, with that, but like
Yeah.
that's his level.
Yeah.
If Max is up there, I think Charles is just, if not there, just a bit lower.
Yeah.
Just a bit lower.
Yeah. So what grade would you give him?
Oh, I forgot to give him a grade. I give him an A.
A?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah.
Musty?
I'd say A++, and what's stopping him
A
from
plus
getting an
plus
extra
plus
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 is
plus plus plus
finishing his
plus
home
plus
race.
plus.
Yeah, he needs to finish the home race.
Yeah.
No, but
That-
yeah, I feel like like given where the car is this season, I feel like he's pushing it
Definitely.
up and above.
Definitely. He's always done
Not,
that. He's put a
yeah.
tractor to a podium. He can do
Mm,
anything.
mm,
Now it's
yeah.
like a Ford Fiesta. He's
Ford
pushing to
Fiesta.
the pushing to the podium. But yeah,
I want to
it's
see how Monza goes for
Yeah.
Charles. Because
definitely,
another good format,
definitely,
uh, and maybe we could see him now certainly entertain the Tifosi.
definitely.
Really will.
So that would be a great race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Monza 2019 was where he became a Ferrari legend for
yeah,
like everyone. I feel like.
yeah. He got the Tifosi love basically.
Mm.
yeah.
He got the Italian yes basically. I have no idea what I was trying to think of what
But
yes is in
a bit
Italian.
of controversy though. A bit
Yeah.
of, and I'll not forget that race. I thought I did he get two black and whites or just one? Not quite.
Yeah, I don't have a great memory of F1 races, so
Yeah.
but it definitely I
It
do
was,
remember that it was a good race. It was a very good race for the Tifosi in that way because they basically adapted a new sun in a matter. But moving on to adapting a son, let's talk about Zach Brown's two sons, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Let's start with the Honey Badger. My personal favorite driver, my number one driver. It's got to be tough on him because he's my number one driver. Hasn't had a great start of the season. Got to give him a C just because of the fact that it wasn't a season where I expected Danny to do a lot more just because of the fact that he's in a very competitive car, but he hasn't lived up to expectation. But my reaction is changing, which is why I said a C. He's got a couple good weekends under his belt. Silverstone is really good. I think he's working towards a decent standpoint, but still, he should be beating Lando, in my opinion. Musty?
I feel like he's always been slow to like adapt to new cars, obviously, but given such a proven by his teammate, like a easily podium like clenching car, he needs to be getting at least one or two by the end of the season. I feel like for
Definitely.
now he's working at
Definitely.
like a B minus,
Yeah,
probably.
definitely.
He's not been abysmal, but he's not been like proving himself in the car by any
He
means. I feel.
I think he's the only driver in the drivers that I think is top 6, top 7, whatever it is, who hasn't got a podium yet.
I actually have like a bit like a bet with a friend that for him to get a podium by September.
I
So
think he
we'll
I
see how
think
that goes.
hopefully by
Hopefully.
September doesn't have a podium. That's something wrong with Danny Rick. He's got the Hulkenberg curse at that point. Chris,
um,
what would you say?
honestly, it's so depressing to see Danny
Yeah.
Ricciardo like, emotional after the end of a race because it's just not gone to plan. And
Yeah.
that's one of the worst things. We like to see the guy coming into the pen ready to joke around,
Yeah.
ready to have the banter, But with that, he's not been good on a Saturday. Um,
Yeah.
not shown too much on a Sunday,
Mm.
and I'm gonna give him a C minus because this is a guy who's been at a top team before.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
he's I expected a lot more from him, but fingers crossed. I know he's gonna get it. We know he's gonna get
Yeah.
a podium. I
Like,
know
the
somewhere he's gonna get a podium.
yeah, definitely.
Fingers
The
crossed, 'cause
expectations have
he
not
doesn't have
lived up. Like the expectations have not lived up to what I mean. I thought he'd have a great season at McLaren with Lando being such a good teammate. I didn't expect him to do as bad as he did. I mean, if I compare like someone like Seb or something adjusting to a car, um, I did understand Seb could take a long time to adjust to that car, and we'll get into Aston Martin right after this. Um, I did think Seb would take a long time just because he's been in a Ferrari for so long. But Daniel just came out of forever. I mean, he was a runner for quite a bit of time, but I didn't expect him to take that long to adjust the car. And by 5 races in, you should be adjusted to the car because it wasn't like he had a DNF or anything. It was that he raced all the races. He was just very, very slow. I thought by 5 races in he would do well, but it still took a bit more time. But I do think that he is getting better and he is learning, which is probably the best part. I mean, on track, I'll give him a C, but as he said in one of the interviews, off track, I do see him putting in extra work, like putting more into the sim and other stuff, and being in the factory and trying to learn as much of the car he can, which is really good to see as well. Um, but let's move on to Seb at Aston Martin. What would you guys rate Seb as this year?
I feel like with the car, maybe B plus area,
Mhm.
B plus A minus area. I'll
Yeah.
just give it a B plus just to be non-biased, but
Yeah.
as a
It's
ex-Ferrari
so
driver,
hard. It's so hard not to be a Seb
yeah,
biased because
yeah,
like no matter what I will like say, I'm always gonna be like a Seb #1 fan. Like no matter everyone is.
he's hard to hate, hard to hate.
Definitely very hard to hate.
But
Chris, what
yeah,
would you Chris and sorry, go on, finish your talk.
no, I was gonna like give reasoning. I would say we're with on track. He's definitely proved himself with the podium, and I don't know.
I
There's
actually
not much
forgot he
more.
got a
Yeah,
podium this year. Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just
Quite under
remember now.
under the radar because
Yeah.
he does.
Because
He
it was
obviously does that on
just
social media as well. Like
yeah.
you don't really hear too much about from him anyway.
Yeah.
I'd give Seb a B. I think
Same.
he really improved from where he started on in the season.
Mm.
The podium certainly is also helping, and the fact that he had good races in Baku, Monaco, sometimes quite challenging tracks, is a plus for me.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I'd like to see him push a bit more. Just
Definitely.
I still a bit more left in his tank.
Definitely.
Um, he could be doing some Alonso madness also,
Yeah.
like considering his experience also. Maybe we want to see those jumping like 3 or 4 cars at the start sometimes.
Mm.
But he's certainly calmed down the fears we all had at the beginning in the
Yeah.
first few races.
Definitely.
So yeah,
Let's quickly move on to Lance. There's not, I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot I can talk about Lance because Lance hasn't been like he hasn't had a great season, a really bad season. He's been like middle of nowhere. So I'm just gonna give him like a solid C plus, B minus.
Yeah.
Misty,
I'll just say C. Yeah,
C.
Under the radar, but not underperforming, not overperforming. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Chris,
B minus.
B minus. That's fair.
To be fair, I have a soft spot for Aston Martin. I'm developing this soft spot for them.
Yeah. They're very soft spot team, aren't they? Because like when you have Seb in a team, and like I always feel bad for Lancho. He doesn't deserve the hate he's got. He's not as bad as Mazepin, definitely. When it comes to paid drivers, so I think that way it's a bit unjustified. But yeah, it's been a bit of a under the radar season for Aston Martin. I'd say that. But let's say I'm gonna say another under the radar in a way, or maybe really bad season has been Valtteri Bottas. It wasn't. I think to a certain extent, the work he's done when he gets to P3 is under the radar now because you've got used to it. But he's sort of been on and off, let's say. So I mean, if I was grading him, I would definitely say he's got a. It's a bit hard, but a C plus, B minus maybe. What would you say?
He's obviously not been like I feel like he's where the team wants him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit higher, but I feel like B. He's B. He's just like not A, but not C. I feel like he's somewhere in between. He's doing all right, but not what we've once seen from him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um,
Chris,
I give him a C. I give him a
C.
C, but he knew he was coming into the season fully knowing he was going to have to fight for a seat.
Yeah.
And what he's shown us has been quite underwhelming.
Hmm.
Baku was not so good. Which other race? Baku was one. I think Imola was one where he was tangling with George Russell,
Hmm.
and that to me is not a Mercedes driver. That should not be happening in a Mercedes team.
Hmm.
And I think if he's not going to be, um, even in terms of the team's expectations of him, at least just locking out that third place.
Hmm.
And I don't think he's done it
That
as
is his team's expectation for getting minimum P3.
yeah, P3, and I don't even
That's
think he's done that enough.
yeah.
You know,
I think with Valtteri, I would say, you know how like drivers have like like when I would say when Alex was when Alex was in Red Bull, the way I describe his journey was that they're very very huge lows, but not enough very very highs to
yeah,
make up for that. So, for
yeah,
example, with Valtteri, there've been very bad lows that we're fighting with George Russell, right? A very bad low, finishing out of the points, very bad low. Crashing out with George Russell for that matter, very very bad low. But there hasn't been like a victory for him or like a outstanding race. Even though I know he's had car troubles, I know he's not been great with strategy and like tons of other stuff. I agree, right? Not his fault, 100%. But end of the day, it is a driver's game, and there hasn't been
Yeah.
enough highs for him. On the other hand, Lewis has, I think Lewis has had tons of highs and very lows as well. I would say a high Silverstone for him, a low point not finishing in the points in when Max won the race. But I think for Lewis and Max both, I'm gonna rate them together because they're both the comparison, aren't they? Like they're both
Yeah.
they're both the front benchers. They're both the highest grade people. As a comparison, if I compare like, because I can't give them A's, they're both A's, right? I would give Max like at 100% a 96 and give Lewis a 93, just because of the fact that I think Lewis has made rookie mistakes where Max hasn't.
I think Max also like I like being critical of my team.
Mm.
I realize, but I think Max needs. In the beginning, I thought he needed more poles in qualifying.
Mm.
I think that's the one bit of criticism that I'd give him. But on the Sunday, puts the car where it needs to be, confident, controlled driving, and
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Musty, what would you say?
Yeah.
Would
I
you,
feel like
I mean, I think let's just rate Lewis and Max together because it makes more sense because they both
yeah.
are competitive
Just
rivals.
just A plus from both. I feel like just
Yeah.
like they're like trading blows of like first places. So it's
Would
hard to
one
say.
be higher than the other? Like
Would
if
one
you
be?
had to rank them, would you put
If I
Max ahead
had
or put
to,
Lewis ahead?
I would put. I feel like I would put Max ahead. I feel like
Yeah,
in the
agreed.
current climate, I feel like Lewis is the underdog to Max. If
Definitely,
even if you can call him an underdog, if you
definitely.
get me.
I think to the fact as well that I do you gotta be critical that Max just hasn't. He's made mistakes as well. Like you look at the last race, for example, he was a bit sloppy through some of the turns, and uh and that basically like I think that sort of led to the reason why he was that in that corner, Cobb's corner actually happened. I think that's sort of the reason why that because he could have taken away from the line and been really quick, but the rookie mistakes on both end happened. But I do think that Lewis has made it a bit more. Um, so let's move on to Red Bull's team, and then I think we forgot Lando. Let's do Lando after that. But Checo, I think again he's had very very lows and very very good highs. Like winning a race, very good high.
Mm.
Finishing, what was it, P16 in Silverstone? Very bad low. So I'm gonna give a solid B to him. I think. Let's just do a quick Musty. Quick grade? What would
I'd
you give him?
I'd I'd say B plus just because highs and lows. Exactly. Yeah.
Chris,
B minus.
C
B
minus.
minus.
Oh, B minus.
B
Okay. B.
minus.
I would agree with that. I think I'm around a B because he's done pretty decently. So I have to give it to that. He's done pretty well. But a man who's done insanely well this year, I don't know how I forgot to skip him, but I did forget to skip him. The great Lando Norris. I'm sorry, A star. He's as good as
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc has been this year. Absolutely surprised me. Didn't expect
Yeah.
it, and he's got points every single race. Like,
Oh
Five
yeah,
straight rides.
Yeah.
he's on a 15 streak, isn't he?
15 streak. Like, that is
I think, yeah.
absolutely insane.
Crazy.
Messi, what would you give?
A plus, yeah. Just
Definitely.
then that you don't need to justify it.
100%.
Unanimous decision.
100%. We've decided a plus. There's no further debate on that. I think this weekend, Hungary. As I said, like at the beginning of the podcast, it's a sort of weekend where there's emotions with the whole Max and Mercedes and Lewis and Red Bull, the whole stuff been going on. At the same time, the Ferrari McLaren battle is getting closer. The midfield of like AlphaTauri, Alpine, Aston, that's getting closer as well. It's gonna be an amazing weekend. Misty, what are your predictions for this weekend?
Yeah, I feel like we've seen on-track battles with Max and Lewis there previously, haven't we? I feel like it's up for grabs. I feel like obviously Max has got a stick up his ass,
Yeah.
if you want to say it that way. And Lewis wants to just carry on as he was. Yeah, it's like either way.
Yeah, definitely. What's your? Let's do a quick qualifying prediction and then race win prediction.
Qualifying. Oh, I feel like it's quite low downforce, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll say Max, Lewis, Checo.
Okay. What about a race same or?
I'll say Max, Lewis, and maybe Leclerc.
Okay.
Podium.
So I'm like a Ferrari podium. Chris,
Um,
predictions for this weekend.
this weekend, Max, Lewis, Charles, and then for the race, Max, Lewis, Checo.
Okay. So
yeah, certainly an interesting one. I
Yeah,
think that the second drivers have an important role to play. We've seen this happen before. If I don't think Red Bull would be happy seeing Mercedes qualifying P2 and P3.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely. I think it's more of a race for them because Checo's not been that great for Saturday, and he's not a master of Saturdays. He's sort of the master of Sundays. But my prediction at least is qualifying. I think it's going to be a Checo getting a pole, even though I just said he's not good at qualifying. But I do think that the track being sort of like high downforce track, it's sort of, I don't know. I feel Checo's gonna do something. I just like sense it. It's like a feeling in the air. I think Checo is gonna be on the. I don't know if it's gonna be P1 or P2, but it's definitely gonna be on the front row. And then like a Max and Lewis fills out the other two spots. And for the race, I'm gonna say a Checo P2. I do think Max is gonna take it away. I do see a surprise shock that Lewis or Valtteri don't finish in the podium at all. I think they're going to have some sort of a different race where something goes wrong, and it's sort of like a Max, in no particular order, Max, Checo, either like a McLaren or Ferrari. I would love it for it to be Daniel. I would love it for it to be Daniel because he's showing a sense of consistency, and a podium would go a long way for him. So, and plus this is one of his favorite tracks as well, which is he's won here before. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good weekend for Checo. That's my summary for this week's prediction. But I mean, it's gonna be a great weekend. It's Formula One's back, and then we've got a long break, which I'm very sad about. But tons of content coming out during those weeks. Any last words you guys want to say?
Yeah, just excited for Hungary. Like proven, like traditional F1 track always delivers.
Definitely.
Can't wait.
Chris?
Watch for turn 1.
Definitely.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna watch. I feel like Max is gonna be on the inside, Lewis gonna be on the outside, and just Lewis spins out. That'll be very funny to watch. But yeah, I mean, Hungary, the race should be very exciting, and Saturday's be even more exciting. Unfortunately, I'm not be able to see any of it because I'm gonna be away on a cricket tournament, but I will definitely watch the highlights. I honestly can't wait. I think this race is gonna decide the momentum for the next races. So if a Mercedes wins, Mercedes going to win the championship. From Red Bull wins, or Red Bull's going to win the championship. And I'm going to leave it on that controversial topic right there, controversial statement. Thank you so much, guys, for listening for this episode. If you guys want to follow us, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Undercut Podcast. Follow us on TikTok. We'll try to post a lot more on there as well. Check out our blogs. Musti's been writing some amazing blogs lately, so do check that out on our website. Anything else, guys? Or are we good to go?
No. Cheers.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining, guys. Peace out.